We are back in Snapshot 23w33a, and this one is quite a big one, I think. Not as many changes are brought, as this one is focusing, I think, mainly on mob reach and also chat reporting. The best change within this actual update is sponges. And wet sponges will now have their own unique sounds. As you can hear, the actual sound for placing sponges and then the sound for placing wet sponges, they now have custom sounds for the block, which is really cool. And they are different. The wet sponge is a bit more splodgy, as if it's got water inside of it. So that is the first change within this snapshot, and I think that is a really good one, because I think these just use like hay bale sounds before. So there are some changes to how mobs attack players. And the biggest change here is before this actual snapshot, when a mob was trying to attack or determined if it could reach the player, if we quickly just summon an enderman, for example, because they are actually taller, it would go off its hitbox length and not the height. Well, now it also goes off the height, so before you could pillar like 1.5 blocks up and not be hit by an enderman, now I think you need to pillar up about 3 blocks to avoid an enderman's hit. So let's quickly just try this. If I spawn an enderman right there, and then I build up 2 blocks, the enderman should be able to hit me because I'm still within its range. Obviously it will teleport around, so let's quickly just see. Eventually when it comes back up here, yes, as you can see, it hit me straight off that platform. If I now quickly just heal and then go up another few blocks, let's quickly just throw some heals down. And then I look at him again. Let's go up 3 blocks. So we've got to wait for him to teleport back up here. Let's maybe look at that one as well. So we've got the 2 that are coming after us. I think 3 blocks should be enough. We will obviously just quickly wait for it to happen so we can test it. Yes, as you can see, this one can't hit me because I'm above its hitbox range. If I was to break this block down when the actual enderman comes back up here, if it decides to, yes, there we go. Okay, wait, it did hit me. I think that's because it jumped though. Oh no, it took the block. Okay, but they can't hit you when you are 3 blocks away unless they steal the block. If I was to go down to the second block, as you can see, they should now be able to hit me, although I think it's because I was looking at him. Yes, as you saw, it hit me straight off and killed me. This is the same for all mobs, but obviously mobs like the Piggling Brute, which are 2 blocks, you would have had to pillar up 2 blocks anyway, because 1 block they could just climb up it and kill you. So that is the same with mobs like that, but I'm guessing it's also the same with things like spiders and all stuff like that that have different sort of hitboxes, and also things like the Warden and the Ravager. So quickly, just to summarize this in a bit of an easier way, when a mob actually tries to attack a player, if it can reach the player, will now determined on the length of the actual mob's hitbox and also the height of the mob's hitbox. So I think basically if you are within its hitbox range, you can be hit. If you are above it, then you cannot be hit. If you are below it, then you cannot be hit. Just some notes from the actual patch notes. If a mob is entirely below you or entirely above you, it will not be able to reach you. So that is basically, for example, like building above their hitbox height. While riding on a medium mob size, like horse, you will be protected from small mobs like baby zombies. So if we quickly just grab a horse so we can show this. Horse, there we go. So if I was to jump onto this actual horse, as you can see, my hitbox would be above a baby zombie, so it wouldn't be able to reach me. But obviously you're actually immune to 2 tall mobs while on camels. As you can see, I'm a lot higher, so that zombie pigman wouldn't be able to hit me while I'm up here. I think this is a good change because it's now easier to tell if you are outside of a mob's hit range just by if you're above, below, or outside of their hitbox. Also, a change that has been made, Ravagers will not be able to hit you through a few block thick walls anymore. A few block thick, a few normally means 3, so I don't know if that is exactly what it means, but Ravagers shouldn't be able to hit you through thick walls anymore. Now, one thing I do quickly just want to test, and this is something that has been used in Minecraft for so long, and I want to know if it's still a thing. If you was to build a mob farm, so say if I was to have a mob farm right here, and I was to then have a kill chamber in the front right here, would the mobs be able to hit me? So let's quickly just test this out. So for example, like this is how most mob farms work. Will the mob be able to hit me? Because technically their feet are here, so I'm within their hitbox range. Unless it calculates it off like the feet, but if we quickly just summon a zombie, can the zombie hit me? It seems like it can. Okay, but only if I'm like super close to it because of its obviously hitbox radius. And actually looking at the patch notes, it answers my question. Mobs will be able to attack you with the bottom of their hitbox, assuming your head is in range. So this is exactly what is happening right here. They are hitting me with the bottom of the hitbox because my head hitbox is within range of it. Two final things to note. Builds that trap hostile mobs might need to be adjusted to be safe. So if you do have a hostile mob farm or maybe an enclosure where you have hostile mobs, maybe just double check that is safe if you update to this snapshot, just in case, because they might be able to hit you if you go close to it. And also, this change does not affect the reach of players. The mobs still need to see their target to attack it. Also a change within the snapshot that I'm not actually too sure what it means. A change has been reverted where armor trim patterns would be masked by an underlying armor texture. I don't know what that means, but whatever this does mean, it has been reverted for whatever reason. Now, before we jump to the bug fixes and the technical changes, there is new features with player reporting. You can now actually report players on their skins and their name. So if you have a survival world or server where a player is using a skin that might be inappropriate or a name that is, you can now report them for that reason. So if a skin or name is reported and found to be in violating the community standards, our team of human moderators can action in few ways. Ban the skin from being used by any player, ban the name from being used by any player, or suspend the player from online play in the case of repeated offences. And when a skin is banned, players with that skin will have their skin removed. Okay, so that answers it. You'll probably show up as a default. You'll be notified when they launch the game. So you'll have probably a message saying that your skin's been banned or your skin couldn't be loaded, something like that. Will be automatically assigned to one of the default skins, that is Steve, Alex, or the 7 new ones in 120. And you can still play multiplayer and single player, can select a new custom skin at any time. And once again, when a player's name is banned, the player will need to choose a new name, will be notified when they launch the game. You will not be able to be online until the name is changed, but you can still play in single player worlds. So if your name is banned, you will not be able to log on to multiplayer servers until you change your name, but you will still be able to play single player or solo worlds. And okay, the actual technical changes answers our question inside of the change about armor trims reverted. The change right here, they've added a decal field to armor trim patterns, and by default it is false. If it is true, the pattern will be masked based on the underlying armor. I think this is for turtle shells. Now let's quickly cover a few bugs within this snapshot. There are not really that many to note. One of the ones to note, if you actually ate chorus fruit while falling, it would not reset your fall damage. Well, that is now the case. So if I was to actually land or be near a block while in the air, before it would spawn you on the ground, dealing all the damage that you would have took from falling. And that narrator toggle hotkey can be disabled inside of the accessibility settings. As you can see, it's at the bottom here, allows the narrator to be toggled on and off with Control B. If we turn that off and I now click Control B, nothing is actually happening. The next bug that has been changed, magma creams and slimes are now affected by the hostile creatures sound toggle. So if you turn this off, the actual sounds of magmas and slimes will now be muted with that sound. Comparators and repeaters will now use a stone sound when placed and when broken. This was also the same with jukeboxes. These would output a stone sound, although they are mainly made of wood. Bees will now pollinate on spore blossoms and chorus flowers, so you can now use them for bees to pollinate. And also levers will now use stone sounds when placed rather than wooden sounds. Pandas, hoglings and zoglings will no longer be able to attack a player riding a camel. And the final bug within this snapshot, when you actually unequipped a helmet, it will now play the unequipped vibration inside of survival mode. As you can see, if I take it off, the skulk sensor is activated. Anyway, that is it for this snapshot. I think it's a very good one. It's a very small one, but I think the changes they have made in this one are really good, especially the sponge. I love that sponges have a new sound now, and I also do love the mob attack reach change, as I think that is much needed for mobs. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, do leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.